Young Gil, we're gonna give him time to get in here, man. Peace and love. We back for another one. They got my intro where it won't come on. I have to upload it. We're gonna give him time to get in here. We got some good stuff for you. We got a couple of religious guys that was in here. They got mad about the Enlil tape, man. Take me to the mall, I want to see LA. I really want to. American girls, American girls. Hey, y'all. This is the part where they run the rest of them phases. This is the part where they run the rest of them phases, man. Hand them over. It's over with, man. The gig is up. We'll give them time to get in here. Y'all get other TV. Who else is doing it? Free Dr. Malachi Z. York, though. Who else is doing it, man? But the students of Malachi. They mad about the Enlil tape, so we had to go live to clear some stuff up because they think Enlil was the Most High God. Enlil is the son of Anu, but he orchestrated the text to read like he was a good guy, and really the whole time he's a bad guy. Once we awaken to what's going on, 4 more people, and we're gonna launch off. If you're just now tuning in, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. This is the part where they run the rest of them phases, man. Y'all on TV. This is the part where they run the rest of them phases. Because truth of the matter is, for all you, we was in America first people, we got something for you. Yeah, you was over here first. We got something for you. You was in America first. We got enough people now. So now we can crack in and bite right down into it. Now, probably what's today? Today's Saturday. Tomorrow will be Sunday. Probably by Monday, I had a receipts out on this, showing you that America is the land of Nod. So when you read the Bible, when you read any biblical text or any scriptural text, and they mention the land of Nod, just replace the land of Nod with America. Yeah, the land with Cain after he hit Enoch, because you got Cain and Abel, right? And a Cain is something that a disabled person uses. Keep that in mind. Because Cain disabled. Disabled. And it's a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so the name for Africa at one point was Sumeria. Zechariah snitching translates Sumeria into the black-head people, which comes out to mean the same as Akubaland, Sudan. So the land always been some associated with black, with the black land, black-head people, black this, black that, the land of Africa, right? And so based on who calling it, who saying what, like when they point at Africa and they calling it a name, they might call it in their tongue something else. Some people, like I say, called it Akubaland, Sudan. All them means the land of the black. Pretty much all of them translated to black. The land of the black. Now, but the part they ain't telling you is when they talk about the land of Nod, one of Enki's name is Nutmud. Nod is the key root component. Pretty much Nod is translated to one of Enki's names. So this was the land of Enki. And Doc, for you Nuwapians and my Sabines, you can go read about this in the holy. You can read all this in the holy tablets. Doc already put all of it out about Enlil. He sent people over here because okay, this is another thing. You was over here first, but you had to admit that you was the 200 fallen. That y'all the children of the 200 fallen. And then that not only would you have to admit that you are the 200 fallen the Gigis, and we could get into the fallen part. The fallen part was Enlil's the other Anunnaki's perspective. Everybody don't agree on that fallen part, right? That they feel. Okay, so if you say you was in America first, and America is the land of Nod, then you would have to agree that when Cain left from where he was, which is really in Florida, the Garden of Eden was in Florida, which is Big Mama's left shoe. See, Big Mama got two shoes, two boots. You ever heard that riddle or that children's story about the lady that lived in the shoe? Well, they stole that riddle from a storyline of Big Mama. And Big Mama got two shoes. The left shoe is Florida. The right shoe is Louisiana. And both of them are shaped like a boot. Louisiana is shaped like a boot. And Florida, if you turn it up, if you turn it to the side, just like Louisiana, you'll see that it's a boot. So it'd be that's Big Mama's two boots. Mississippi is Big Mama's kitchen. But when Cain got kicked out of the garden and got sent east, because they switched the maps around on you and they switched the compass. East is really west and west is really east. But it's really no such thing really as direction, because on a circular round globe, when you go so far west, you end up going ending up in the east. You can land in the Middle East going west, or what they call it. Ain't no such thing as really Middle East, but like Doc said, but you can land in the east, what they call in the Middle East, by traveling west. But when Cain got kicked out of the garden, he left and crossed over the Mississippi from Florida, because the Euphrates River is really the Mississippi River, and the Tigris is really the Missouri River. And the city of Ora and the land of Nod was on the other side of the Mississippi River. A lot of this stuff it's gonna come back, like if you ain't up to speed, it's gonna come to you maybe way later, and you're gonna say, okay, yeah, I see. But Doc already explained this. He had came out and told us, but he couldn't come directly out and tell us that. He told us he really came out directly and told us, but nobody, the people that was listening didn't accept it all the way like they supposed to did. That, hey, y'all are the children of these Agigis that came down, that landed in America first. They landed in America and began mixing with the daughters of man, who was the Twa that was already over here in America. And these beings will be classified as your Moors, because the city of Ora really was over here. This was the land of Nod. This was the city of Ora. A lot of the locations that they saying overseas was really over here at first, like Greece, India, because the Hindus landed over here first. That's what we're finding out. So if you say you was over here first, you would have to admit that you are a Moor. That you are Moor. And that's why if you translate America, it translates into the land of the Moors. And Doc also, because when I was scanning through the Holy Tablets again, I got AI to do a quick scan, and it found another term called Ameri, which the Moor or these Hindus came down with, and the term in their language in Sanskrit refers to a fiery object, like a flying saucer or something like that, right? A fiery flying object. So, but you had to admit that. And we already got the receipts on that the Garden of Eden was in Florida, Let me give you some key points to go look up. Look up gopher wood. Gopher wood, especially the kind that Noah used in his ark, is only found in Florida. Go look it up. It's a man that discovered this, and they made him out to be a crazy man, and made him into turned his organization into a cult, so they can use the cult busters to take him down. Right? And that's before they really started cult busters hard. Noah used gopher wood. Gopher wood is only found in Florida. So if Noah was over where they say he was, how did he get gopher wood way over there? And why we come over here just to get gopher wood, to take it back over there and build a boat in the middle of the desert if he could come all the way over here? And it's, well, we still dealing with, well, if the land was one land at that time too, we still dealing with that part. But we dealing with gopher wood found in Florida. Can you get around that, dispute that fact? Not even mentioning the Bible mentioning corn all through the Bible, and corn is indigenous to America. So was Israel in America? Yes. Why? Because one of Enki's name, like I said, was Nud or Nod. Another one of his names was Israel. And the people of Enki became the Israelites, according to what Doc said in the Holy Tablets. So that would make this land, America, Israel, the land of Enki. But then he goes on to allude to the fact, and Zechariah Stitching, because I got AI to cross-reference it with all 12 of Zechariah Stitching books. It's really 15. I got all 15 books of Zechariah Stitching. It's really 15. He got a 12-book series on just talking about the Anunnaki. Then he got another one. He got really pretty much all 15 books is talking about the Anunnaki. But he got one called The King That Never Died. I got that one too. But based on the cross-reference, Zechariah Stitching even says in this glossary in the Lost Books of Enki, I got that one too, that America is the land of Nod. Pretty much he comes out right and say it in the glossary. And I wish I can share my screen right now, but on this program on StreamYard, it chop you up real bad. But like I said, I got the receipts that are gonna come out more to prove what I'm saying. AI already pulled all the receipts for me and put it into a video. So I pretty much I'm already, and like I say, we already steered a lot of this already. But another key clue and point out that this is America, and the AI pointed this out, is that the land where they landed was called Chaldea, was translated to demons, right? And then if you go to Revelations, and it talks about Mystery Babylon, which really is America. America is like one arm of the Mystery Babylon, dealing with the Vatican and which is the old Babylonian system, right? Dealing with the Vatican and London, as the financial arm is London, the religious arm is the Vatican, and the military arm is DC, right? So it alludes to the fact that by the connection between Chaldean and the verse in Revelations where it says, this has become the inhabitants of many foul spirits, right? It was talking about America. It was talking about the land of Nod. And it was people already there, because Cain said that whoever, when he got there, he was afraid to go there because people was going to kill him. There's people already in America, in the land of Nod. And the people that was there was the 200 fallen, the Hindus, the dark-skinned black Hindus, who blended in with your Mississippians. They the ones that taught the the people that was over here how to build the mounds. I put that tape out. That's what the Naga, because people were complaining about the Naga tape. The Naga tape was to explain to you that different extraterrestrial cultures came and influenced a lot of the human thought patterns, especially building the pyramids. Actually, the pyramids is a combination of about 4 different races, influenced by 4 different races. One is the Coneheads. They influenced the pointy top through Pharaoh Huni, and because they mixed in with the humans. And then it's another group called the the Tarzisians. They are the ant race that showed them how to dig the underground tunnels. That's why the underground tunnels are under the pyramids. They lead all the way to the center of the earth. Because these guys showed them how to dig, and they dig all the way to the center of the earth. These ant race. And they really, some of them, they still got bases here on earth, underground, in America. Right? In some of the cave systems. Some people report got stuff coming out on that. Another race that influenced was the Anunnakis, and just the technology is part of it. And then another race was the Nagas. The Nagas influenced the basic platform of the pyramids because they came with the Masabak idea, the mound, the first, like this one step mound. Imhotep, actually Imhotep wasn't the first to start stepping them on top of each other. These guys came with that. They already came to this planet with that idea of stacking mounds on top of each other. These Naga avatars who took avatars from the planet Bagabuti and a lot of this stuff might just be, you know, sound crazy, but like if you this really for the people that's up to speed. And these people came here in ships shaped like pyramids. And it's another group that's a spawn off of them, a hybrid race off of them, which pretty much they test tube babies. They call Ashtar Command. Ashtar Command flies the wedding cake ship too, the pyramid stack. What they got is the bottom is a wedding cake, then they put another one on top of it that look like a wedding cake. These Ashtar Command guys from they really not from Platy. They rent the planet out and Platies. They're not Platians. They really are Nomos. They from the Cyrus B. Because that's how they get the name Ashtar Command, right? Because Cyrus B burnt out when Nibiru passed by. It drained the energy from it. So it burnt out the star. They created them a new star, though, Cyrus A. But the other old star burnt out. And that's how they got the name when they went back to get help after Nibiru passed by Neptune, causing a magnetic storm, and they got trapped in them avatars. They went back to Cyrus B to get help from their family, other family members, the other Nomos. And then they joined on with them. And then these guys, Hatan, them, who was the ground military of the Nomos, reptilians, she ran them, the Airborne Regiment. So they Ashtar Command, the Great White Brotherhood, the Airborne Regiment. The same people who influenced Yaku to draft the Aryans. These are the same people, man. And Hitler, too. They influenced Hitler. Okay? All right, so I might have went too left right there, but let's go back because we still sticking on America is the land of Nod, right? I'm telling you, man. Like I said, if you can argue with me if you want, we got more receipts. They're gonna come out. They're gonna twist your cap, completely off, not back. We're gonna just knock that joint off, make it roll down the street, take off running with these receipts we about to put out, right? About this being the city of Ur was over here. A lot of stuff was over here, but. What was I saying? Yeah, so you know they found Alexander the Great's tomb over here. They found King Tut, the king of the valleys in Kentucky and Arizona. I mean, these guys, these Smithsonian Institute, because they really pulled this in they really wiped pretty much made us forget, put us to sleep, because that's what it's about. It's about America. The land of Nod is really America, a nation that had been asleep and forgot that they were the Moors. All you Moors, all you Moors, all you Moors, right? They're the land of the Moors. Why? Because they the 200 fallen Agigis landed over here and began teaching the humans. Now, look, this is some of the things that Enlil didn't want, because Enlil didn't want the humans learning nothing. He wanted them digging gold. Man, get out there and dig my gold. You don't get know about what we know. Would you want your pet smarter than you? Would you want your slave to get more intelligent than you? Come on, man, let's do some common sense here. Enlil didn't want you knowing more than what he knew. He wanted you digging gold. That's it. That's all. Man, that's what I'm trying to get done. Right? And so Enlil's side, besides Inanna, wasn't interested in educating humans. right? Yeah, we are Moors. Man, I'm telling you, man, based on my research, and I can prove this, and I debate anybody. Now, if you say you ain't a Moor, then you came from somewhere else. You ain't from America. Or you part of the original Twi that was already over here. The Twi. Are you part of the Twi that was here? Right? And so but the Twi, I mean the Moors is in it, all y'all. Want some more? Want some more? I'm a Moor. You know, tell you. Look, America is the city of Aura. When we left here and started selling around, they started calling us Mu Aura, one of Aura. This is the land of the Moors. Go watch my tape I just put out called the end all on the word Moor. Then trace it, we show you how we traced it all the way back and how it went through every language and it gained different definitions through every language. But if you want to admit that you was in America first, you would have to admit that you part of the 200 fallen. Now, is that a bad thing? Then becomes the question, because this is all based on perspectives. Because that's what I was going to get into. Now, one of the things that and this ties into, for you biblical guys and you religious guys is listening, it ties into the book of Enoch. One of the names for the two, they was called Nephilims after they came down, after they got kicked. They said they got kicked down. That's what Enlil perpetuate, right? They were called the Igigis at first. Igigis mean those who managed the sky, or those who stayed in the sky, and they stayed on Mars during a gold, pretty much a gold exchange. They pretty much was a weight station. But 200, to make a long story, we already got videos out on this, and we got like 200 videos on Anunnakis in the Anunnaki playlist for newcomers. It's like 250 tapes. And then if you're interested in extraterrestrials, we got about 700 tapes on extraterrestrials in the galactic family of playlists on just about any extraterrestrial race you could think of. And we got about 2,000 more coming out. So stay tuned. Right? We got about 2,000 more, man. I got so many extraterrestrial races to do. I got so many tapes to do. It's like I'm only one man. So, you know, we put one out every day. So, you know, I'm dropping one every day. But this right here is the land of Nod. The land of where all the demons was. Chaldea means demon. The Garden of Eden is in Florida. We already told you that. We got, and like I say, we got a tape out already with their receipts already. Go to my playlist, the Native American playlist, or the religious playlist. It's in a couple different playlists, and find a tape called "The Garden of Eden" found in Florida. And that we got a whole documentary showing you of how the four rivers is found in Florida, the mouth of the four rivers. And then, like I said, we got more evidence coming out to prove to you that Mississippi is the Euphrates River. It's really the Euphrates. They changed it around in the biblical text. And when Cain got kicked out of the garden, he got kicked out of Florida and went onto the other side of the Mississippi River, where these other beings were. Who are these other beings? The Igigis, which became known as the Nephilims. And in Enoch, it details that these beings took women and started, because they was in the land of Enki over here, the land of Nod, and they started mixing with them and having children. And then these beings taught their children a trade. So like if you was a carpenter, Joseph taught Jesus a trade. But Enlil didn't want this happening. Enlil didn't want you getting the trade. The only trade Enlil wants you knowing is digging gold, being a gold digger. That's it. That's all. And doing as you're told. Mortal, slave. Matter of fact, slave was a word started by Enlil. They got another term. They call it something else, but it really translates to slave. and I'm not talking about Lulu. Lulu was another term. Lulu Amalu means primitive worker. They had another term just for, oh, he is to insult you, like get in your place, slave, like, you know, that type of term, that type of thing. But Lulu was like a term used for like primitive worker. But yeah, Slavics, and it's like I told everybody, Africans and Americans, which are the Moors, the real Moors, could never be slaves because slave don't apply. The Moors is the one that enslaved everybody, right? Some of the ones, the dirty ones, under the orders of Enlil, right? You got to keep it going, man. And so, actually, Tanush is the 11th Satan. Satan is a title. Lucifer is a title. And Tanush is the 11th. Halal becomes the 12th. And then the person who's sitting holds the title and sits the seat and controls the kingdom that you're referring to as Satan or Luciferians and all that. The person who got the keys to that kingdom now is Halal's grandson, who is Enlil's son, who you refer to as Baal. His name is Adad. Adad is Enlil's son. He's the one that you calling Satan now that they all worshiping. They set up an order. He set up a priesthood called Baphomet. And the goat and the children and all the, you know, the goat menes and all that, that connects with Baal, who Enlil used as a scapegoat to get out of the bit. But Baal has some other stuff going on, which is the real reason why Enlil can use him as a scapegoat. And he really become your Jesus and all that. The goat, the scapegoat, the sacrifice, the willing sacrifice. Because in the culture, in the Hebrew Israelite culture, they had a ritual where they put their sins on a goat and then drove them off a cliff. Shout out Commando Swan. Yep, that's right. Commando Swan. Khalifa, right? Queen Khalifa. Or Empress Khalifa. Who was a Moor. Right? See, it's like this part. If you say you was over here first, you had to admit that you was either the Twa, the Sandsman, or you came down in an avatar and mixed in with the people that was here and taught them how to build pyramids, how to stack a mound on top of a mound. And like I said, like I pointed out, the king cobra is it's one of the serpents that builds a mound. The female cobra builds a mound. When these avatars came here, the Igigis, they had to take avatars to come into Earth because when they was on Mars got a different atmosphere. So when they came here, they took avatars. These avatars was like my color of my glasses. And some of them had had Anunnaki in them because Shamgazu was part Anunnaki from his mother. That's how he got in. Shamgazu's mother, Shamgazu is Hala. Another name for him is Samael. Right? Samael, which means poisoners of El. Samael, his mother was an Anunnaki. His father was of these Dragonian avatars who came from Titan and Saturn, who was engineered pretty much by Mother Hubert, who is Anu's sister, who wanted to overthrow Anu and them. And she used them in order to invade Saturn. They had to look more like the Anunnaki, so they created these avatars and started going. And that's when the avatar thing jumped off, when the reptilians and the nomos and pretty much a lot of people started using avatars. They was like the new thing. It's like avatar is pretty much like a suit, like a biological space suit, to where if you don't breathe the atmosphere, your body ain't conducive whatever planet you're going to, you can just put that suit on, which is what you're driving right now. Your body really a suit, the real you on the inside. Stare in the mirror long enough, you'll figure it out, but don't stare more than 19 seconds though, right? Because you can get trapped in the mirror. The mirror is a portal. So we don't recommend it unless you're a high power alchemist and you know about mirror work. You go stand in the mirror too long and wonder. Yeah, serpent mounds are connected. The mounds were built by these. Well, the mounds were taught, were built and taught how to build by the children of the 200 Igigis, 200 fallen angels. And they taught. That's where I was going. Shout out, because you just took me back where I was going. They taught these children about soap. They taught the humans about soap and how to wash their hands and how to wipe their behind. They taught the humans how to warm up their food. They taught the humans how, because they didn't, the humans couldn't do none of this. They had to come to the Enlil, whatever Enlil had going on to get food, shit, whatever. You didn't get nothing unless Enlil called it down or gave it to you, right? So, but these 200 fallen guys, or what the Enlil called them fallen, because they didn't go along with what he wanted going on. Murdoch really didn't want to beef with the guys. He was trying to get them some mushu, but they didn't go like his plan. They jumped the gun, took the girls, ran off in the woods with them. Genesis chapter 6. But yeah, so they taught their kids cosmetics. What the ancient Egyptians was doing, putting all the makeup you put on, the eyeliner, lipstick, personal hygiene. The 200 fallen taught the humans personal hygiene and how to line your face, put a fresh line up on your fade. Enlil didn't want you fading, doing a fresh fade. Enlil didn't want you taking a bath and with knowing how to use soap. He wanted to get a soap and do all that. Enlil didn't want none of that going down, right? So the 200 fallen, they also taught you how to make swords and spears and shields. Enlil didn't want that happening because if I got a spear and you don't got one, a spear can translate to a gun, sword, whatever. If I got a gun and you don't got one, then that makes me your god in a sense, because I'm in control with that gun. You see what I'm saying? So Enlil had a spear, but he didn't want them having no spears because he couldn't come in and tell them, hey man, boss them around. I got a spear. You need to get down, dig that gold or else. Right? So now when Enlil come back to see if they digging that gold, they say, we don't want to dig no gold. They say, well, he put out his spirit. They say, well, we got one too. Even Stephen. The same thing that happened to Moses in the Old Testament when he went to Pharaoh with his staff and threw it down and turned to a snake, and Pharaoh's called, hey man, that ain't nothing hype. There ain't no hype about that. We got some guys that can do the same magic trick. He called some guys out the back. They come do the same trick. But then the Hebrews would say, oh no, but Moses' snake was better because he ate his snake up. He ate the other guy's snake. Right? Yeah, it sounds all nice and creamy. Yeah, it sounds nice and creamy, but you're still missing the point. Whatever Moses was doing, the Pharaoh guys can do the same thing. So it must, the power that God have, he must not have been the only God that had that power. You know what I'm saying? It must have been other gods, which is why Enlil specifically said in his contract, don't worship no other gods. Why he didn't want you to worship no other gods? Because if you talk to them other gods, like the guy they said that was the bad guy, the serpent in the garden, who really was the Nomos, who taught the Dogon about the stars, divination, because one of the things that they taught the humans was divination, how to read the stars. The cards and all that. I don't see the cards in they dialect. I see them throwing bones. They taught them that. That's all part of the divination. How to tell a calendar, how to tell the days of the week, how to know it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. These extraterrestrial Igigis taught the humans that, they children. They passed the trade to their children. Some of these Igigis were blacksmiths, meaning they knew how to smelt metal. So they taught their children that. Right? And all this stuff is still going on today. Oh, all of you going to school right now, a lot of you going to school to get a trade, learn how to weld. That's part of what the 200 the welding is what the 200 fallen taught the humans. But then you go to church, say, oh, y'all, I ain't with the 200 fallen. But then you go on to work the next day welding. The 200 fallen taught you how to weld. You wouldn't even know how to weld if it wasn't for the 200 fallen. Enlil didn't teach you how to weld. He wants you to dig gold. That's it. That's all. Your God or your Bible. Now let's get that. Let's go back to that. Because it's going to be some religious guys. They're going to be mad. They're going to cry. All this crap. Right? But the God of your Bible, it actually was two different people in the first part that you're dealing with. But for the most part, you're dealing with the orders of Enlil in the New Testament. I mean, in the Old Testament, in the beginning, when the God was walking in the cool of the day, that was Enlil. And then in some parts, Enlil sent his messenger, which is really his, it'll be his nephew. You call him in the Bible Gibrael or Gibrael for you Israel, for you Ishmaelites, right? And Gabriel or Hanuel is his galactical name. He was Enlil's messenger. He was God's angel, because angel really translated to messenger. Nabu, messenger, right? So, but when they say angel, you automatically get the wing thing and white kids floating out of space type of thing. But it ain't that type of thing, right? It's more like, oh, he just a mailman, a delivery guy. So Gibrael was a delivery guy, a mailman. He delivers Enlil's message to the humans or to whoever. He was delivering message to everybody for Enlil, right? Another one of his names is Nutscoot, Nutscoot, right? Nutscoot, spelled Nusku. Right, that's another one of his names in the Sumerian, right? But Enlil didn't want the humans learning, and if you go listen to the story again, and the other being was telling them that they gonna know what Enlil know. Enlil didn't want them knowing what he know because he couldn't. In order to stay God, you gotta be in control. God is whoever's in control. That's my definition of God. God is whoever's in control. If I got a gun and you don't, I'm in control. Unless you know a little extra, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get this guy out of his gun. But going back to Enlil is your Yahweh, Elohim. So they messed you up because Enlil already did this. Enlil wanted to take the Eim off, the Elohim, and he wanted to make himself the only God because he didn't want you to go listening to these 200 Gigis who would teach, freeing you from Enlil's chains. So that's why he set up contracts so that you wouldn't go mess with nobody else. That's what the whole contract system is based on. So I'm gonna make a deal. They Enlil call it covenants. Covenants is the same thing as contracts, right? So that whole system is based on I don't want you to go messing with nobody else. That's what marriage contract is about. All the contracts. It's about I don't want you to go messing with nobody else but me. It's like you can't serve no other God but me. That's the whole all contracts is based on Enlil philosophy. That one line. Don't serve no other God but me. So in the marriage contract, don't cheat on me. Don't do this. And any kind of contract, don't go and you can't go get down with nobody else. If you sign to a record label, you say, well, you can't go do this or do that. It's all kind of stipulations in the contract. That's what Deuteronomy 28 is about. It's Enlil contract with the humans after the fact, after the flood, because he already got accused of breaking galactical law. We get into Tahuti. Tahuti is Ningazita. That's Enki's third son, down from after Murdoch and Nergal. Right, Tahuti. My uncle we call him Unc. We call him Unc. Uncle Tahuti. Right? We can get Tahuti. I can't say Tahuti man too many times. He'll come in and take over. Right? He'll come in and take over. Right? So yeah, so Enlil, pretty much his whole thing was, like I say, that they was educating the humans, teaching them. Another thing that they taught the humans is how to grow plants. I mean, how to plant plants to grow food, grow their own food. Enlil didn't want the humans knowing how to grow their own food. And not only that, they showed the humans what they call root cutting. Root cutting is when you take one plant and make it into two, and then two and make it into four. Pretty much the binary code. They taught humans binary code in the plant system. So what's bad about root cutting? Which a lot of most of every gardener in the world right now is using. The 200 Fallen taught y'all that though, and half of them is Christians that's using it. Christians, Muslims, all y'all using it, but y'all against the 200 Fallen. They the one that Enlil didn't want you none of that. Enlil said that was the demons. That was demon teachings. For you learning how to cut, take one plant, take one apple tree and turn it into two. Or take all that. That was, that was against the law, against Enlil's rules. Why? Because I want you to serve me. Dig gold. And he really didn't care about you serving him, really. He just wants you to dig gold. That's it, pretty much. He don't give. Enlil was type of dude, if he ain't like you, and once he ain't like you, that was it. And if you try to kiss his butt, he'll play you and send you on a flunky mission. Like this. Go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And then he called down to Pharaoh's house and say, hey, Pharaoh, I'm finna send a guy down there. He coming to tell you to let my people go. You tell him, you don't let him go. You don't let him go. Enlil playing both sides. Sound familiar? The Jacobites. They fund this guy. They fund this guy in the war. It don't matter who win, you still got to pay the Jacobites. A lot of this might go over your head. And the Jacobites is Enlil's seed, who at one point was called the Hyksos. Yeah, the Jacobites play both sides. They loan money to France. They loan money to England. And then they make them fight each other. And the end goal is to take over on both and control on both. That's Enlil's whole mechanism. But Enlil, so you got to realize, let me tell you something about my grandfather Enlil, my great-grandfather Enlil. Enlil is like in the streets, in the hood, we got this thing called, he's scary. He one of them scary. He a chump. So Enlil was a scary dude. Nobody really, Enlil, only reason he had pull because he was Enlil, because he was Anu's son. But he wasn't a tough guy. Like he wasn't a guy like the guy the guy that he portrayed became. He didn't start out as that guy. He was a benevolent, don't hit me. People picked on Enlil when he was younger on Nubaru. They picked on Enlil. Right? And the only reason they didn't go too hard on him is because he was Anu's son. And so it was kind of like a playful type thing. But Enlil didn't like that. So, but Enlil grew up as a spoiled brat. He grew up with a gold spoon. And shout out Raw Hayes, because I called Raw Hayes the other day. And when I was talking to him and telling him about what AI said about the gold spoon and the silver spoon, he was like, that's a code flip. And I was like, what's the code flip? He said, the silver spoon is the matriarch line. And then the gold spoon is the patriarch line, meaning that Enlil came down through Anu, the father line. Right? When they said he got a gold spoon, he's born with a gold spoon in his mouth. And I said, that's hot. Right? Because Enlil did come down from Anu, and he ruled based on the father line, right? Not the mother line. And then coming down from that, hey, y'all, I gotta make this announcement before I go to the next thing. Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to help us out, we got 8 books going for the $45 donation to the Cash App. We still letting them books go. 8 books, right? A lot of them thick, right? It's gonna take you over a year to read all of them if you're reading every day. 8 books by the Young Elder: the Ascension Manual, the Galactic Family of Life, the Language of the Bird books, the Orion Group books, the Dream Scroll, the book of Extraterrestrials. All these books, all these pictures. All these books got pictures in them as well to go with everything that I'm talking about in the books. the Scroll of Eyes, and the Hustler's Manual. And we let know all 8 books go. We send them to you in PDF form through the emails and the links in the descriptions. Leave your email in the links when you send the donation. You can do it PayPal or Cash App. And as soon as I get off, you should have your book within 10 minutes after I get off and see that you if you start the donation. And we got the Cash App and all that in the links in the description. Just want to make that announcement. All 8 books, we let them go $45 for the Cash App and PayPal. You can get that ASAP, right? Everybody get their books, right? Okay, so what was it? Yeah, so Enlil ruled through the patriarch line. When the whole thing was about, this is what I was gonna say. So the Anunnakis got rankings. Let me teach you about the Anunnaki ranking system for the guy that was on the tape earlier, and he was saying, "Man, how you talking about the Most High?" And I was when he was referring to Enlil, when AI was referring to Enlil, he said, "You talking about the Most High like that, right?" Enlil is not the Most High God. Enlil, because there's different titles in the Anunnaki ranking system. The highest title in the Anunnaki ranking system is the Most High God. Now, another word for that is Anu, which is a title, right? Anu is a title, which means Most High, right? And the person that got that title is Enlil's dad. His name is the Most Honorable Raziel the First, the Most Honorable, the Most Magnificent Raziel the First. It's Anu's name, but Anu is a title, and Anu actually is the 9th Anu. It was 9 Anus before him, right? So he was and actually it's a whole bunch of other Anus in other clans, but Anu is the leading president of the 19 galaxies, and he's the Most High God of the Anunnaki clan, right? Because other people got their own leaders, but he's for the most part, most of you humans, at least 80% of you are children of Anu, coming down from Enki or coming down from Enlil, right? So the ranking system, the Most High God would be the highest title. Then the rank that's under that, which several people had this title, and Enlil was the one that was holding the title until Anu gave it to Tammuz, because Enlil got took off the project, and then Anu put Tammuz, who is Enlil's great grandson, over the project. Okay, so Enlil got the title Yahweh of Yahwehs. Really, Yahweh translating to those who knew good from bad. That's why he said, now the man has become like one of us. He knows, Genesis chapter 2, he knows good from bad, right? Because these beings understood the balance, the difference between good and bad, or evil and good, or light, darkness. This is all that, like the whole concept, right? The yin and yang, Piscean age principles, right? They understood that information, so they become Yahwehs, which could translate into also the word Lord, and Lord can translate into master, Rabboni. We can go all the way down through the different translations, but Lord is synonymous with like landlord. Landlord is like somebody that's over the, like if you paying rent to somebody, they would be your landlord. So they're a person that's over that land. So if I say Yahweh, I'm saying Lord. And then if I add Elohim, which is really a plural, the singular is Elo, which Enlil turned it into Elo. He got rid of the group and made it a singular because he wanted to be the only God you serve. That's why when they translated the Bible, they put it into God. Instead of putting God with an S, they translated to God because of Enlil's doing. He wanted to single it out because he's a jealous guy. Cut the other gods out the deal. He wanted to cut Enki out the deal. He wanted to cut Murdoch out the deal. Actually, talk about Murdoch in there, but they lower his progress, his perspective of what he was doing. because Enlil was really against Murdoch, even though Murdoch still rode for Enlil and cut for Enlil because of Anu. Because Murdoch was with Anu, and if Anu said Enlil was in charge, Anu said that, so that's what it was. That's how Murdoch was, right? So that's the only reason he cut for Enlil. But he eventually found out Enlil ain't right. I don't care, man. I'm gonna do something about this. Enlil ain't right. And then when he found Enlil ain't right, they tried to get rid of him. But the Yahweh of Yahwehs, meaning that you got say like the Most High would be the CEO of a store. Say you have a business. The Most High would be the CEO. Then you got the store manager. That will be Yahweh of Yahwehs. The store manager will be Yahweh of Yahwehs, right? And that's what's Enlil's position. Until Tammuz, who was the being the Christians later on try to translate his name into Jesus, and in Arabic, Isa, Haru in ancient Egyptian teachings, but it goes back to Tammuz, and they mention Tammuz actually in the Old Testament, right? Tammuz is Haru, Jesus' real going back the first term that they was using for Ananas. It was his name, Tammuz, right? All right. So Enlil had the title Yahweh of Yahwehs. And Enki had that title as well, Yahweh of Yahwehs, because when Enki came to Earth with the group of beings, the first to do the gold experiment, those some of those beings were Yahwehans, and Enki was over them. So Enki gained that title Yahweh of Yahweh. And then, like I say, Jesus had the title Yahweh of Yahweh, who would be Tammuz, Enlil's great grandson, right? So that's the second title in line, Yahweh of Yahwehs. And then the next title, which would be like, it said if you're not familiar with customer service or that type of business, you understand, like you got the store manager, you got the CEO, right? That's the Most High. The store manager, that's the Yahweh of Yahwehs. Then you got the people that's over certain departments. They call them department managers. The department managers would be your Yahweh Elohims, right? They are the landlords, or the group of the supervisors over the gods, the Elohims, right? So the department manager will be your Yahweh Elohims, and then the team lead, which is the shift managers that's under the department managers, they would be your Elohims. And then the people under them, which is regular employees, would be your Lulus or your regular humans, that's working under them, right? So that's the ranking system pretty much. And they classified a lot of you as Elohim, the children of the Elohim, gods. So you are gods. You are Elohim, according to Psalms 82 from the Bible, God, chapter 6, and John chapter 10, I think it is, when Jesus say, is it not written in your law, I say ye are gods, right? I'm just trying to tie everything in. Keep in mind, we got it, because I said we were going to get out of religion, but like I say, some people came on today on the Enlil tape, and they was highly holy and sanctified. So we got to tie everything in with what we're going to take questions in a minute. It says, where is Enlil today? His thoughts regarding the information. Anu is on the mothership Nubaru, and they actually sitting up probably like maybe like 100,000 miles behind the sun, right? So we got tapes out on that. You might be a newcomer. Says, can you speak on? Yeah, because so some of these beings, Diana, that's dealing with the 72 demons. So some of these beings were really bad guys. Not all the 200 fallen got completely labeled as bad guys. In the end, some of them, for lack of a better word, turned back towards Enlil, or turns back towards the Anunnaki. And one of them beings' name was Ezekiel. But another interesting thing that you said, I'm glad you asked me that question, because hey, shout out Arkansas for the super chat. Interesting that you said that, because me and Rob was trying to figure out, because Rob said that it wasn't no cities over here called Salem before they came. But based on the analogy, the new analogies that we got, is that Enoch, who was assigned by Murdoch becomes Melchizedek, by the way, for you Bible guys, and Angel Michael, right? The captain of the Lord's host. Murdoch is Enki's son. Enki is Anu's son, so they would make Murdoch the grandson of Anu, right? Okay, so Murdoch administered to Enoch, which is really his brother, and one of Enoch's names is Adapha. In the lost books of Enki by Zechariah Snitching, he referred to him as Enki me, because Adapha looked just like Enki, and Enki really called him a mini me of himself, and he taught Adapha how to speak the Anunnaki, and taught him all kind of stuff, right? And that's how he was able to eventually go to the mothership Nuru. But Murdoch sent Adapha, Enoch, over to the land of Nod to speak with the 200 fallen Agigis and their children. And he ended up converting some of them to the new doctrine of Murdoch, and he set up 100 cities. These cities over here in America, because America is the land of Nod, these cities became known as Salem, after Melchizedek, the king of Salem. That's how your cities of Salem get over into the land of Nod. Enoch brought them under the orders of Murdoch, right? That's the way we getting the write up right now, based on the information that if this is land of Nod and then Enoch got signed by Murdoch, that would make sense about the 100 cities that were called Salem over here, and then leading up to the Salem Witch Project and all that. But based on the documents, Islam was over here first in America, based on the new document. Like I say, all the receipts gonna come out for this probably Monday. Islam had to be in America first, and Islam didn't start with no Muhammad. Maybe, and then even the religion that you're talking about, this Islam today, it really didn't start with Muhammad. It started with Abu Bakr, who took over, who they got rid of Muhammad, and then created their own sect called the Sunni. Right? Muhammad people was the Shia. Right? But we go back to because that's falling down from Bilal all the way down, going through Muhammad's nephew, right, and Fatima, Ali, Muhammad's nephew Ali, right? But we're talking about Islam, but Islam started in America. I'm telling you, man. And the reason why they brought Islam, because they considered these 200 fallen children to be wild men who wandered in the wilderness, because they call the land of Nod the wilderness. They consider the people over here to be possessed by demons. Chadim. Go look up Chaldea and see that it means demon, the land of the demons. And they call America the land of Nod, the land of the demons. They even make, like I say, they make reference to that in the Revelations, where they say Mystery Babylon has become the inhabitants of many foul devils. And now you'll begin to realize why America, the most crime in the world is committed in America. The most pornography is in America. The land of nude, the land of nakedness, the most demonic activities and obesity. And I can explain to you why most of the obesity is in America. It's partially because of the fast food. That's later. But it's also dealing with some beings that Enki invited to America, the land of Nod, because Enki was inviting all type of different extraterrestrials from everywhere to come over and mix in, have a party, have fun. Get it on. Let's get it on to the break of dawn. right? So a lot of extraterrestrials came over here and mixed in. That's why it's the melting pot. And the obesity gene was from another group of beings called the Derus, who were elephant trunk. They made a god out these same Moors, these Hindus, dark-skinned Hindus, made a god out of them called Garnish. And Doc talk about them in the whole, they talk their rules. And Doc ain't the first to talk about them. Another dude named Richard Shaver wrote a whole magazine on them about these guys who kidnapped him out of jail, and he went down to these advanced cave systems and met these elephant trunk obesity looking guys. They look just like Ganesh in the Hindu culture. They call it their rules. Obesity, they mixed in over here with humans, and that's why you see a lot of humans that's 400-500 pounds in America. And all the fast food did is stimulate the gene, because there's a lot of people that can eat a whole bunch. They can eat a whole bunch. They can eat all day long and never gain any weight because they got a high metabolism, because they don't got the Deru gene. But if you got the Deru gene, you better be careful, because you can eat just a little bit and gain 5 pounds. Just off of something that ain't even 5, you ain't eat 5 pounds and gain 5 pounds. Why? Because you got the Deru gene. Don't feel bad. It don't make you you just gotta control all these. It was a melting pot. Everybody came to get this, be part of the DNA upgrade of the humanoid project, of Project Blue Rock. Inky's experiment that took place in America, the land of Nod. Cain came to the land of Nod. And like I say, he left out of Florida, though, because Florida is where the Garden of Eden really was. And we got a whole bunch of receipts proving that for you newcomers that is coming on. Like I said, we got a whole video out called Florida Was the Garden of Eden. You need to go check that out. We got a whole tape out called America Was the True Old World. It's an hour and 10 minutes long. And they break down all the stuff about how the jackal Hindu people, that's who Anubis come from. Anubis was in America. The 200 fallen landed over here, these Hindus. And like Doc talk about in the Holy Tablets, that they mixed with these jackal looking beings. Snoop Dogg is a part of that tribe. That's why he looked like a dog. The jackal Hindu people. A lot of this stuff might sound like, if you ain't no Nawapian or Sabian, you might be up to speed. But it might sound like mumbo jumbo. But these guys landed over here in the city of Nod. And they began teaching the humans cosmetics. Part of cosmetics is burying the dead. That's why the ancient Egyptians make the coffin decorated, put makeup all over the coffin. They mummify the dead and put the burial ceremonies. All that was taught by the Moors, the 200 fallen guys, Igigis, that landed over here in America. And that's why you find the first mummies in America. And Tahuti was a part of this same clan. Why? Because Nutmud, Inky, is Tahuti's father. Tahuti is another name. The name for him is Nungazita. And he was over here teaching in the city of the gods in Atlantis, educating the humans. And Tahuti is part Nagas. He part Blue Aliens. He part Dragonians from his daddy's side. And he part Anunnaki. He had about 4 or 5 different species in his bloodline. But the Nagas is one, which is why Tahuti is part of the influence of the pyramids and the mounds building. Tell you, man, a lot of this might sound like mumbo jumbo to the average guy, but these dog people, that's the reference in connection with Anubis being in America, in the land of Nod. And it was different parts named different things. We have reason to believe, and to me, it ain't no belief no more, because we got too much irrefutable evidence proving that the land of Nod was right there in the middle of the Mississippi and the Missouri River. Pretty much, the Louisiana Purchase was the city of Ur, the land of the Moors. And the people that came from that, which is the Washita, they became Mu-Oras, one of Ur, which is really the Louisiana Purchase. I'm telling you, man. They might shadow ban this tape. The killer clowns might shadow ban this tape, because this pretty much, they can take them phases off. Yeah, you killer clowns They know about the mound. That where you act like you know about the mound. You know about them. You know about them. You know about the mounds. But y'all try to rock our crowns, but you're a whole bunch of clowns. You don't believe me? Go to the parade. They ride around in little small cars, paint their face like clowns. They really clowns. And they killer clowns. And killer clowns is just what it sounds like. I'm telling you, man. And they've been trying to stop us from finding out this for a long time. They've been trying to stop us from finding out that this is really Egypt. That y'all really the Egyptians. That one group called this Tameri. Right? When the Spanish landed over here, the conquistadors, when they landed at the area where Maryland at today, the Anunnaki people, they asked them, what do y'all call this land? They said, we call it Tamare. And then the Greeks said, then these Spaniards said Tamari, because Mary in their name is Maria. Marie is Mary. Keep in mind, Mary is our Nana. Because Enki passed the throne to Inanna, passed his land rights. Enki passed his land rights to Inanna, which would give her rulership over what they call in America. I'm telling you, man. And that's why it's Big Mama land, really. That's why it's Inanna's land. But it's another group, Enlil's son, Baal, Adad, to usurp Inanna. And that's how the Baphomet, these Jacobites came over here to usurp Inanna. Right? All this gonna play for people that's up to speed. They saying wow, right? But the people that's not, they saying, man, we don't know what the heck you talking about, right? What was I going? Yeah, so this is the land of Inanna, because, like I said, they called it Tamare. And so the black conquistadors flipped that around and they said Tamari, because Ta means land. So they said Tamari, Mary land, Maryland, Inanna, Mary and Jesus, the Black Madonna, who they worship over at the Roman Catholic Church behind closed doors. Inanna, the son is Haru. The widow's son, Inanna, is the widow because of Osiris. Asar was taken out, leaving her as a widow. And the widow's son would be Haru, not Hiram. They said Hiram, they changed it around, right? Hiram, the age of Aries. A higher Ram, that is the age of Aries when Murdoch ruled. Hiram is Murdoch's nephew. Haru is Inanna's son, the widow's son. Stop playing with us, bro. And y'all gonna run them phases right now, goddammit. You gonna run them goddamn phases. Stop playing with us. Run them goddamn on phases right now. We know now. The gig is up. The gig is up. And I'm about to get ready to get off, man. Wadu.